What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Junior and the Big Dog, your favorite father and son duo covering Miami Hurricanes football and sports. How's it going, Big Dog?
Fantastic, fantastic. Enjoyed the collab that we did last night with New School Canes, and really going to enjoy the celebration that we're going to have Thursday night at 7 o'clock. A 3 hour celebration for getting monetized by YouTube, hitting the 1,000 subscribers, and we're actually almost at 1,100 now. So we overshot the mark. So going to do a great celebration with all of you guys, because you're all the ones that deserve credit. It's been amazing what you guys have done the past few months, and the way that you've taken it upon yourselves to help our channel. And going to have a great celebration with you guys Thursday at 7 on our channel, Talking Canes Football, and celebrating just the beginning.
Yes, absolutely.
Hitting 1,000 subscribers. So make sure you're there with us on Thursday at 7.
We'll see you guys on Thursday at 7. You're shaking a little bit, Big Dog, when you're talking there.
Oh, let me rearrange here the way I got my setup. There we go. That'll stop.
All right. I hope you guys like that intro. A father and son duo, words of Miami Hurricanes talk. Paul, you came up with the idea, so we're gonna go ahead and start using that. That way, it'll make the intro just be a lot easier on us.
That is true. Absolutely.
So yeah, I kind of feel bad. I kind of feel bad for Big Dog because he kind of promised our viewers on last Thursday's live chat that any questions that we did not get to, he was gonna go ahead and review. And that's what this video is about. Any questions that were in that live chat that we didn't get to last week, he's going to go ahead and cover. A lot more work than I guess he envisioned. So we're not making any promises for the future. But, if you guys really want us, just for future references, if you guys are, really want us to answer a question and you see that we're not getting to it in the chat, either repeat it or make sure to leave it in the comment section once the video is finished and uploaded. And me and Big Dog do our best to get to all the questions and comments in our comment sections of our videos. So
for you guys that have commented, you guys know 100% of the time we always respond to, and usually very quickly. Usually it's right away.
Yeah.
But whenever you leave a comment or a question, we respond to you 100% of the time. So like he said, in the future, if we don't get it during a live chat, or even if it's not even, part of a show, you guys just have a question that you want to know what we think, go to our last video and put it in the comment section and we'll answer you, really quickly. So that's what we'll probably do in the future. What ended up happening on this one was funny because I actually went into YouTube and typed up a response to all the questions, was up to like 2 a.m. Everything is perfect. I hit the enter button, and all of a sudden that spinning wheel kept spinning, and it didn't post my response and obliterated it. So all that work that I did last Friday went for nothing.
yeah.
So, but we're going to get to all those questions. But like Junior said, in the future, if you do have a question, just post it in the comment section, guys, if we don't get to it during the live chat, and we'll respond to it 100% of the time.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it right away. Big Dog went ahead and got, all the questions that were missed, and we wrote down some comments as well. Before we do jump into the first of many, many questions and comments that we're going to be going through. For those of you that are new here, subscribe, like, share, comment. It would really help out the channel, and
the notifications bell,
which is big.
Important, guys.
Get notified on any future content that we do end up dropping, which we drop on a regular basis in our live chats on Thursday as well. So you guys can get notified and hopefully join us and keep on growing from 1,000 and keep on going up. So without further ado, you want to go ahead and jump into all the comments and questions?
Let's do it. The one thing that I was really impressed by, and it's funny because when you're doing a live chat, you're so into what's going on at the moment, the topic that you're talking about, the points that you're thinking about, interacting with the people that are interacting with you in the live chat.
Right.
You don't get an overview, so you can't see the forest for the trees.
Right.
when I reviewed the questions, and I'm not saying this, guys, to blow sunshine up your butts, but it's 100% the truth. The intellect of the questions and the comments is much higher than you find on any type of show or live chat like this, or those call-in shows you hear on the radio. I was really impressed with the knowledge-based questions, and being that I got to review them all and review that live chat, it was amazing to me. So take a bow, guys, that your questions were really on point, and the comments were really on point.
Absolutely. Let's get to it, Big Dog. Let's get it cracking.
This is going to be in the order that we received them on the live chat, and then some had multiple questions, so then we kept them all together. First one, you Goldwire, who do you like as a starting quarterback? And he was one of quite a few guys that I'll mention that believes we can go 12-0. So, and like I said, I believe, and Junior is the same way. 10 wins to me is our floor. That's as bad as I think it would get would be 10. I fully expect 11, and 12-0 is definitely a possibility. So, in my opinion, Junior, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I think we can make a case. Listen, guys, we saw it just a couple years ago with Malik, Rocher as our quarterback. Starting off 10-0, and finally defenses started to catch on and loading up that box and forcing Malik to throw, and he threw us into a hole basically, and that's where it ended. I think our defense is still elite, just like it was last year, and just like it was, even the year before last, but last year especially. And I think we're just going to continue on with our defense, frankly. And I truly believe all of our, problems on the offensive side of the football are going to be solved. Whether that's Tate, and we'll go ahead and dive into this question about what who you Goldwire thinks that is going to be a starting quarterback. Regardless of who the starting quarterback is, guys, I think this offense is going to be fixed under Dan Enos. And whichever quarterback does get that nod for August 24th, I think Enos is going to tailor the offense to the strengths of that quarterback, and frankly, I think it's going to put us in a great position to go 12-0 indeed. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
And to sort of address this, because people sometimes when you say that, you got your cane shapes. Let me just put it to you this way: 2016, Notre Dame won 4 games. Mm-hmm. Okay, unfortunately, we were one of those 4, but they won 4 games in 2016.
Right.
Okay. 2017, they had a good season. We spanked them 41-8, of course, because you remember that was the time that people thought, well, Notre Dame is back. Now they win 4 games in 2016. We spanked them in 2017. 2018, they were in the college football playoff, undefeated regular season. And I don't know if you heard that, but some of the Clemson players, when some of the Bama players were running their mouth about Clemson, and Clemson said Notre Dame was better than you guys. Now, mind you, they might have said that just to get under their chin.
Yeah, I think that's for sure.
No, but my point is they have a case because they lost by 27 points. Bama lost by 28.
Right, but yeah, to your point, I mean the kind of the caliber that we're talking about, that kind of Notre Dame football team. Look what we did to them. So I mean, guys, I truly believe there's a possibility, if we get past that Florida game, which I strongly believe that we have a chance to do so. I'm not scared of anybody on the schedule. And I actually said it, if for those of you that didn't tune in, I actually, mentioned it. I'm not scared of the Gators. And the only team that I wouldn't say that I'm scared of them, but I'm not sure if we're ready, only based on experience, is Clemson. I think Clemson top to bottom.
Right.
Top to bottom, that's one team that I'll probably be like, I don't know, but we'll see how the season progresses, and I think.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think we will see them in Charlotte. I think the ACC Coastal it's. I'm not gonna say it's a cakewalk, because I don't think it's a cakewalk either, because no disrespect to the other teams in the ACC Coastal Division, but talent-wise, I mean, we have everybody. And the ACC, frankly, you can make a case that maybe, Clemson, because Trevor Lawrence looks like he's, turning into one of the best college football quarterbacks, that ever lived, frankly, especially the way he finished up, last season. But I mean,
kid's a monster.
Yeah, top to bottom, talent-wise, I think we're right there with any team. You could make a case that we may not have the depth necessarily as the Bamas and Clemsons, but 11 on 11, I think on the defense side of the football as well as the offense side of the football, I think we're right there in terms of talent-wise. So I don't see why 12-0 is out of the realm of possibility. Like I said.
Well, there's 2 games on our regular season schedule. Obviously, Clemson, that's going to be a challenge. There's 2 games on the schedule that do worry me, and there are 2 rivals. I'm not going to give even Florida the benefit of, frankly, I'm not the benefit of the doubt for being a rival because they canceled the series against us. And they still talk.
It's still a rival, dude. I mean, you still got to say a rival.
We also beat them 7 out of the last 8.
I get it,
and
but
they've beaten us 4 times since 1978.
But it's a big time Florida school. I mean, them and FSU.
But FSU, when they kept getting L's hung on them, never canceled, never threatened to cancel.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
So I don't even give them the benefit of the rival doubt. All right, and you know how I feel about the Gators.
Yeah.
The reason that the Gators do worry me, they do have a good team.
Now we're shying away from the question, man.
No, but it's saying the 12-0 conversation because that actually there's a few questions in that they mentioned 12-0.
That's true. Yeah.
There's two games that worry me. Florida, not so much from the talent standpoint. They do have a good team, so you have to give the devil its due.
Yeah.
But they worry me because it's our first game with a brand new offense.
Right.
And that's the thing. You're going to have hiccups. Manny mentioned that in the scrimmage, he was bothered because, yes, the guys now know what they're supposed to be doing, but from a technique standpoint, he thought that they should have been better.
Mm-hmm.
So Florida worries me a little bit that there's going to be some mistakes because some hiccups of being the first game. Then if we get past Florida State worries me from the standpoint that I think they're going to struggle this year. We get past Florida, now we're undefeated going into Tallahassee. It's going to be their Super Bowl.
That's fine.
No. I'm just saying that it worries me.
I get it.
Because we're going to be going in there, if we go in there undefeated with a lot of confidence, and Florida State's not going to care what our record is. They never have.
Well, I mean, we've seen it in the past decade or so when they had our number and they were always ranked up there, and we weren't even ranked, and we were giving them a run for their money every single game. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. That's
good. That's the thing. So Those are the 2 games that worry me. Virginia on a short week because they have a bye week to get ready for us, and we have them on a Friday after a Saturday. So that one's at home.
Yeah.
So that one, I'm not as worried, but I think it'll be a fairly close game.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
That's about it. Yeah.
And as far as starting quarterback, you guys know I've given the reasons before. We are going to do a quarterback podcast at some point, breaking down with a video breakdown. But I'm a Jaron guy. Have been from the beginning. I think ultimately he wins it. And so that's my starting quarterback. Go ahead, Drew.
I said it yesterday, category 5. I kind of felt like I was backed into the wall a little bit because nobody was really going for Tate, but I think there's a possibility that Tate does get the nod. I think all quarterbacks have improved, and Nkosi especially. I wasn't high on Nkosi last year, and to be honest, he does not look like the same quarterback that we saw last year. I mean, he's improved significantly, and frankly, the biggest improvement we've seen has been Nkosi Perry. So I think Enos Nkosi, looks like he worked on some of the things that Enos wanted him to work on when it came to his mechanics, such as he had a little bit of a hitch and like a long, throwing motion, and Enos wanted it to be more violent, and it looks like that hitch is gone. So he's being more accurate, and I mean, listen, we haven't heard any off the field issues with Nkosi like we did last year. So it looks
the honor roll. He made the honor
roll.
The
honor roll. He's matured, so he looks like he's ready. So I'm not.
if Nkosi does not get the job, guys, it has nothing to do with
any exactly
anything about Nkosi.
100%.
He really looks like he's matured.
Yeah.
Even in the interviews, you see a completely different Nkosi. He's dialed in. He's being a leader. Everything that you want intangibly from a QB, Nkosi has tried to incorporate it.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't get the job, it's not because he didn't put in the effort. He damn sure has. So
and in the last scrimmage this past weekend, the only one that didn't turn the ball over, I think was Tate, and I think that's big. And Enos and Manny are both, they want a guy that's making good decisions, but you got to take care of the football. I mean, if you don't win, especially if you're going up against Florida, I mean, and you lose that turnover battle, it's not going to be pretty. So I think taking care of the football is big. I wouldn't be surprised, frankly, if anybody. I mean, if Nkosi starts, I wouldn't be surprised. If it's Jaren, I wouldn't be surprised. If it's Tate, I wouldn't be surprised. If I had to pick somebody right now, I might be leaning a little bit slightly Tate over Jaren, because I've been a Jaren guy just with Big Dog since the beginning. So I'm rooting for Jaren, but I'm rooting for anyone. I mean, whoever gets the nod, and this is a disclaimer that I always like to put out there. Everybody has their dog in the fight. I understand it for whatever reasons they may be. But whoever does get that nod, I'm rolling with you 100% of the way, because I have full confidence.
That becomes our guy.
That becomes our guy, no matter what. So, if it's not Tate and it's Nkosi, let's get it, Coles, baby. Let's get it 5, But if it's Jaren, and it is what it is. But I have, full confidence in this coaching staff and Dan Enos that they're gonna pick the right guy no matter what. So I'm leaning a little, like I said, slightly Tate over maybe. It's too close, man. It's too close, and frankly, I need to see how the rest of this week, turns out in terms of practices. The entire coaching staff did not seem upbeat today. I mean, because they went over the footage in the scrimmage, and it wasn't as crisp and sharp as what they wanted. And that's, frankly, you could look at it with the glass half full or the glass half empty. Do you want your coaching staff to be like, oh, no, yeah, we saw some promising things, and, yeah, we got some things to work on? Or do you want to see them be kind of disappointed because they're expecting nothing less than greatness? And frankly, that's what this coaching staff is looking for. And Manny's not happy. He wasn't happy because he didn't feel like the things that they felt that they were learning at Green Tree and at the IPF, and everybody kind of knew what they do. But once you get into a scrimmage, the environment is different. You're out there by your own, and the ball's live. So some guys were not in position. He talked about the wide receivers not really making any plays after the catch. So that could be good on the defense, but he wants to see more playmaking abilities from the wide receivers. So, I mean,
techniques were a little sloppy. He didn't like some of the technique.
Exactly. So, and then, hey, this coaching staff is expecting nothing less than greatness. So, I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. So, I would like to see how the rest of this week does unfold when it comes to the practices. And I think by the time next week rolls around, I think the coaching staff, whether they announce it publicly or not, I think they're gonna know who the guy's gonna be.
There you go. So if you had to pick one, you'd pick Tate. I picked Jaren. You guys know. I mean, here's a guy. I'm going to talk about his athletic ability. Multiple times he's been clocked at over 20 miles an hour during fall practice. Rushed for almost 1,300 yards in high school in Georgia against good competition. Jaren's now Jaren doesn't run unless he has to.
Right.
Because Jaren likes being a pocket passer. And he's the most accurate of the three, the most gifted pro-style quarterback that we have. So that's why Jaren is my guy. So
I'm with you.
Good there. Unknown Faith asked if we think Tate's going to transfer if he doesn't get the job. I don't believe he's going to transfer because of all the flack that he caught with this transfer. And I think there's going to be a Tate package regardless if it's Nkosi or Jaren as a starter. And so therefore Tate's going to play, I think, in every single game with that Tate package, which will be RPOs, more quarterback design runs, rollouts, a different type of look, almost like a wildcat look, but with an actual quarterback.
Right.
So I don't think Tate will transfer.
I'm with you there 100%. Just one little tidbit I would like to add to that. I don't see this coaching staff playing musical chairs the way Rick did in terms of if a guy has a bad half, them inserting another quarterback. But I do believe that if there's a stretch, of a few games that Dan Enos and Manny are not seeing what they want to see, I think they're gonna have somewhat of a short leash when it comes to putting the trigger, and maybe some guy steps up in practice and ends up taking the job, and if he performs well, then he could take the job to the rest of the year. Now, I have full confidence that whoever does step out on August 24th can indeed be the quarterback for all 13 games. But yeah, if a quarterback struggles for 2 or 3 games, or for whatever reason, Enos and Manny are not seeing what they want to see, then we have the talent at quarterback to put in the next man up. So I think that's also a possibility. Not something I would like to see, frankly. I mean, whoever does get the nod August 24th, I would like that to be the guy, through and through all the way, throughout the whole season. But I do think that I'm not saying, guys, that we're going to see, what Rick did against Virginia, for example, where Nkosi has, a bad quarter and a bad half, and he inserts Malik, and which made absolutely no sense because he didn't pull Nkosi against FSU, but then he wants to pull Nkosi in the Virginia game. Whatever.
Right.
That made absolutely no sense to me at all.
And Malik had hardly had any reps at all.
Exactly. So I don't see that happening, but I do see a possibility where if a guy's struggling for a couple games here and there, or is having, some issues at practice or whatever, and a guy does, step up, I do believe that they can take the job over. So yeah, I don't see Tate, transferring at all.
You brought up the point with Manny, the comments that Manny made after today, the comments. So we're filming this. You guys are going to see it on Wednesday, but we're filming it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
The comments that Manny made, he was salty. Frankly, he was salty. You could tell.
He looked pissed off, man.
Yeah, he was salty. So, but the reason he was salty, and he made it pretty clear, is that with Manny, you're going to see 2 things that you never saw from Rick. Is number 1, he wants perfection. Okay, I was talking to Wholesome today about Vince Lombardi. You ask the players universally, Vince Lombardi was more salty with them after a win than he was when the rare times that they lost.
Right.
And because Vince Lombardi wanted perfection. And he said, as a person, as a player, and as a man, you should change. You should chase perfection relentlessly.
Mm-hmm.
That's where his words. His words in the very first meeting he had with the Green Bay Packers when he took over was, we will chase perfection relentlessly. And even though we know that we're never going to reach that perfection, we are going to strive for that perfection, because then you will have excellence.
Mm-hmm.
And Bart Starr said right after the meeting, he called his wife and said, honey, this is different. This is going to be different. And then they ended up winning 5 world championships in 7 years.
There you go.
Okay. So, and I'm not, again, Manny hasn't coached the game. I'm not comparing him to Vince Lombardi. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, Manny has that same attitude of what he's chasing is perfection. He said it. He goes, we're fine. All 3 guys can be good, but the question is, are we going to be satisfied with being good?
Mm-hmm.
No, we want to be great. And so he was salty because he wants the bar up here, which wasn't the case previously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the second part of it is a sense of urgency, which goes to you talking about the quarterbacks. Okay. There's not going to be with Manny, oh, we had a bad half, let's hope we pick it up next half. No. There's going to be a sense of urgency of, hey, it's the second quarter and we're only up 3. What the hell's wrong with you guys?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're going to see. So you're not going to see us trotting out a punter for several games who has the yips.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to see us trotting out a quarterback who is struggling when you might have a better answer on the bench. Okay? We're not going to see stuff like that. Right. Being good is no longer the standard. It's being great. It's being national championship level. And the way that you get that is not accepting anything less.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah. I'm good with that.
Mr. HD had a couple of them. He wanted to know about Nesta. This will be quick. Nesta's injury, they didn't disclose exactly the injury, but Manny Diaz did give a timetable, and he said between 6 and 8 weeks. The only thing I'm concerned there is Nesta's a big dude, and not being able to work out what type of shape he's going to be in after those 6 to 8 weeks. Are we going to see a weight gain? You know, and mind you, with David Feely, I don't think we'll see that. And hopefully he can still, but I think even after 6 to 8 weeks, don't expect 100% Nesta until closer towards the end of the regular season.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Mr. HD thought Jordan Miller was going to step up. I believe the same thing. Would you say you believe the same thing?
I mean, his body says so.
Well, and the thing is, you know what? If he doesn't step up, we have Jason Blissett and Jared Harrison Hunt that they have the talent. They have the talent to play. And I would like those guys to redshirt and have a full year with David Feely.
Oh, 100%.
But those guys, if they're forced into action, they can play.
But frankly, I think
those guys can play.
I think that's what Mr. HD was alluding to. Now's the time for Jordan Miller. Now is the time for Jordan Miller.
And I believe he will. I believe he will, and I think you believe it also.
Yeah.
Because even before the injury to Nesta, I said our defensive tackles are 5 deep.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was including Jordan Miller.
100%.
So you're still going to see John Ford and Pat Bethel as the starters. Chigozie Inaruka, the injury that he has, I believe it's minor.
Yeah.
Chigozie Inaruka and John Ford and Bethel starters. Chigozie and Jordan Miller now as the backups.
Exactly.
So that's what I think you'll see.
Yeah.
And the last one is just a comment. He prefers Scaife at tackle and Cleveland Reed at right guard. I'm thinking he's meaning he prefers Scaife as left tackle and Reed at guard, or he prefers Scaife at right tackle with Reed at guard. The thing
that's probably what he meant, because you got Zion at the left and then Donaldson and then Gaynor.
Correct. I do think Zion's going to start probably week 0 against Florida. The one thing that has changed is now they're showing John Campbell as the first team right tackle and not Kalian Herbert. I don't think that competition's even over yet.
I was listening to Butch Berry and his comments, and that is something that is not set in stone. I mean, he said it himself. He's shuffling guys around and he's trying to find the best 5. And frankly, he doesn't know what those best 5 are yet. So we did see, Campbell running with the ones during the media portion, but Butch Berry, I mean, they asked him about it. They were like, we did see that change. Instead of Herbert being out there at the right tackle, we saw Campbell. And then he's like, he's still trying to look for 5 guys. So he's still shuffling around and trying to see, which are the 5 best guys that work, the best. But, I mean, we'll see.
Now, one thing that surprised me, which is new, is they had Herbert as the second team left tackle behind Zion, which Kalian had always been on the right.
I didn't see that. So who do they have in the second team behind Campbell?
I believe it has Zalante Hillary. So they kicked him back outside the tackle again.
Huh.
Yeah, that was peculiar. Peculiar. And they're showing Ja'Kai Clark now as a second team center and Tommy Kennedy as a second team right guard behind Scaife. So right now the second team that they were showing was Kalian Herbert at left tackle.
Right. Cleveland Reed.
Cleveland Reed at left guard, Ja'Kai Clark at center, Tommy Kennedy as right guard, and Zalante Hillary as right tackle.
Okay.
So that was they were showing as second team.
Okay.
So and the first team: Zion, Navon, Corey Gaynor, DJ Scaife, and John Campbell.
Okay.
So like you said, but that competition is not over. But I do like Cleveland Reed at guard, Mr. HD. So I'm.
Me too.
I do. I think it comes down to who's a better player right now, Cleveland Reed or John Campbell. So if you believe it's Cleveland Reed, put him at the guard and kick DJ Scaife out to the right tackle, because those are the 3 starters that we know about for sure. Navon, Corey Gaynor, and DJ Scaife. Okay? Let's go. Canes for Life had a couple. He was saying one of the things he said was about the media wanting Tate Martell. I've seen it all over the board except for Jaron. I've seen people in the media wanting Cozy Perry, especially the Florida writers that knew Cozy since he was in high school, or knew of him. So I think they have a tendency to favor Nkosi. Some of the media prefer Tate Martell. I think the whole angle of the Netflix QB1, the transfer from Ohio State, it's a juicier story.
Well, 100%. I mean, I'm not blind to that fact. It's a juicier story to headline, the kickoff. So I mean,
yeah. But I've seen the only one I've never seen the media in favor of is Jaron Williams. Frankly,
I don't understand that.
So, in fact, USA Today, believe it or not, had a story about quarterback position battles in college football. They picked Miami as the most important QB battle, and they didn't include Jaron.
That's ridiculous to me.
So it shows you how unfact-based some of these reporters are.
Yeah.
And you don't include the guy that spurned Alabama and Ohio State to come to Miami.
Yeah. But he also said to start Jeff Thomas in the slot, we will know right off the bat if they're playing man, or Jeff in the slot, we see off the bat if Henderson or Wilson sticks them. Creating matchup problems before the snap. Enos wants to run under center. Tate can't do that.
Right, that's the next one. Let's talk about, because there's two different ones there. I like the idea of Jeff Thomas at the slot. If you want to do it to start to see if C.J. Henderson goes with him, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. I think you might see as starters Jeff Thomas, K.J. Osborne on the outside, and then Mike Harley in the slot. I think is probably the way it's going to start. But putting Jeff in there to see if C.J. follows him, I think it's a great idea. They have those two good corners, guys in their good corners. They are.
How about
Wilson are both good corners.
What do you think about moving Jeff in the slot and then putting KJ and Hightower on the outside?
Yeah. No, I think we're going to do that, and we're going to see
like that.
KJ and D Wiggins. The D Wiggins is really now, obviously you got to hold on to the ball. You got to catch the ball.
Yeah.
But he's really shown. I mean, you look at a guy 6'3", 200 pounds, who, as we know, he's been timed at 23 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Mark Pope even said, because they were teammates, Mark Pope even says, no, D Wiggins is faster than him.
But that's, he did say that, but that's somebody that I think we're going to see in the slot this year quite a bit. And Pope. I expect to see Pope a lot in the slot this year.
D Wiggins, Hightower, those are strictly outside guys.
No, 100%. But I think Pope could be dangerous in the slot.
Correct.
Man.
And Dan Enos is going to put Jeff Thomas in the slot. He's going to put KJ Osborne in the slot. He's going to put Mark Pope in the slot. He's going to put Mike Harley in the slot. You might even see the few snaps, Marshall Few in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
But the bigger guys are going to be the X and the Zs. That Y is going to be depending on what he does. But Canes for Life did have a good point. Putting Jeff in the slot's a great idea.
Yeah.
And
watch out for Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Jeremiah, but I see Jeremiah being outside the numbers too, even though he's 6'1".
No. I wasn't referring to him in the slot. I'm just saying.
Oh, as far as him playing,
pushing, he's gonna get some snaps, and he could do some things.
Young man earned it.
Yeah,
he deserves it. He's worked his butt off, kept his head down, does everything well.
Mm-hmm.
He runs good patterns. He has good hands. He has good speed. He's tremendous work ethic. Blocks downfield. Everything that a wide receiver does, Jeremiah already does, like a college veteran.
Yeah,
and not a freshman. So,
yeah,
absolutely. But I do like Cane for Life. I do like the idea of having Jeff in the slot more often, and we'll see if C.J. Henderson or Marco Wilson follows him, because then they're going to be in trouble. I don't know if you guys saw the one that they had as their slot guy, their slot corner, tore his Achilles heel.
Yeah,
tore his Achilles tendon. So
he's done for the year.
Florida is depleted there.
Yeah.
And so, listen, you got to respect Henderson and Wilson and Marco Wilson, but take advantage of their weaknesses. And that's going to be their depth, their nickel guys, and their safeties.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do like that idea.
Yeah.
Birdman mentioned we could go 12-0, which we already talked about. Jeremiah had some really good comments here. He said, we're not losing a home game this season. I'm with you. I agree. He also said that our speed is going to shock Florida like it does every other team. You would agree?
Our speed, yeah, 100%.
Jockey Florida.
I think because Enos is going to put our talent on the offensive side of the football, create space for these guys to create havoc. I mean, when you have that much speed on the team, you have to find a way to get these guys the ball. And no, not on little bubble screens every single other play, and no on just little slants, but finding creative ways. We've seen a bunch of end arounds already, and I think we're gonna see probably yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So I think we're gonna see Enos utilize that speed on the offensive side of the football quite a bit.
Well, I laugh when I hear these Florida guys talking about Tony on jet sweeps, like going, okay, we'll do the same thing with Jeff Thomas.
Yep.
Okay, and he's every bit as electric as Tony is.
100%.
So I would think he might run that jet sweep probably on average a couple of times a game.
Yeah, 100%.
So we have to get him the ball,
and not just with Jeff Thomas, but we have other players that could also run that jet sweep.
Yep. Jeremiah also mentioned that he is really big on D Wiggins, and Jeremiah, I'm with you. He did say that they're young receivers and they get better at hanging on to the ball right through the roots as they get more experience. I agree with you, Jeremiah. One of the things that doesn't get talked about enough is that Taylor Stubblefield, while his bona fides as a recruiter, he's doing well, but I'm not positively convinced that he's an ace recruiter as of yet. Have to give him props on Michael Redding. Have to give him props on maintaining Marcus Fleming in the class. So
Clark, dude.
What's that?
Clark.
What about Clark?
Marcus Clark.
Oh no, but that was Stubblefield was in on it, but that was really, wasn't it more Mike Rumpf at Banda that were recruiting? I thought Rumpf was recruiting him harder, Marcus Clark. But regardless, though, Stubblefield's a very good technician, and one of the things that he's doing is these guys are catching 150 balls a day from the jugs machine.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to hang on to the ball more often. He did have a question here. Oh, he felt that.
Well, I said, oh my God, I'm so. Go ahead. I got lost. I got lost in another question here.
Oh, okay.
With Marcus Clark, because Marcus Clark did play wide receiver quite a bit, so that's why I was thinking about Marcus Clark. But we got Marcus Clark as a DB, so never mind.
Yeah, we picked him up as a cornerback, but he caught 59 balls for 1,000.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about Marcus Clark, and then his footage started going through my head, and I remember him so much at wide receiver, but he's gonna be a DB for us. So never mind with Clark. But I love Marcus Clark.
Oh, me too. No, I love that. That kid's a stud.
Yeah.
He said that he thought there was going to be Gervin Hall and Derek Smith as the starters as safety. That's a possibility. I think it's still going to be Gervin Hall and Amari Carter, but Derek Smith's going to get a ton of playing time.
I thought you said you had Smith starting.
I did but on Smith and Carter, I think they're going to play. They're almost interchangeable. Very similar skills. They're both big hitters. At times can struggle in coverage. Smith.
You saw the hit that Smith laid in the scrimmage.
Smith can hit, but so can Amari Carter.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know.
I think maybe Amari gets to start, but they'll probably play very similar snaps.
Yeah.
Snap totals. And then he said that we should stack the box and try to make Florida beat us with the pass. I do agree with that. I don't think with Florida we're going to run the striker as much, the 4-2-5 with a striker, as much as we're going to the rest of the games. So I expect McLeod to get some serious playing time as the strong side linebacker. So I'm with you. And I also like the idea of having a spy on Felipe Franks. So having it be either Shaq or Pinkney or McLeod, have somebody spying Felipe Franks on most downs.
Mm-hmm.
So especially on most passing downs, because that's when he likes to scramble and pick up cheap first downs. And then he also mentioned that Cam is a monster. Big Kane.
He's healthy, by the way.
Cam. Yeah, Cam is fine, guys. He was just wearing a sleeve, so yeah, I think it's just a sprain on his knee. But Cam Harris is fine, and I agree with you. I think he's going to be a monster. But DJ, listen, DJ's not doing anything showing that he's going to relinquish the job. With DJ, you do worry a little bit about fumbling issues and he has fumbled some in camp.
Yeah, exactly. We've been seeing it even in camp.
But listen, I think both will be big contributors for us.
Hey, and Burns looks like he's healthy. So that's another one that if anybody starts slacking off or if we do get dinged up, that's one, position group that I think will be perfectly fine, especially if Burns stays healthy and hoping that Lingard as well comes back healthy.
So, somebody asked this question later on, and so I'm going to answer it now. They asked about maybe using a 22 personnel, which would be 2 tight ends and 2 running backs. I like that in some power formations, and here's the idea. Having Mallory and Brevin both in the game, okay, or you can even throw Irvin or Palinde in there, okay. Palinde is the better blocker,
right?
And having Rielis George at fullback and Robert Burns at tailback.
You can. That's like a super powerful formation.
Listen,
yeah, you can't get more power than that, baby.
I wouldn't be surprised, Dan Enos, if he sees guys, playing that nickel against us all the time, for him to do that for a drive. So I could definitely see that happening, and I do like that idea.
Just as a linebacker, what do you do when you see Rielis George and Robert Burns coming at you?
That's right. That's right. So I like that. I do like that idea. Big Kane is a new subscriber. Thank you, Big Kane. He was mentioning the 56 game home streak. Big Kane, it was 58.
It was 58. Yes, it was.
Nobody's gonna ever touch that record except for the Hurricanes from 2019 to like 2035. I don't want us to lose a home game again. Alejandro Johnson also predicts an 11-1 as a worst possible record, and he doesn't even see where the one loss is coming from. He sees us running the table. Alejandro, absolutely.
We are with you, big dog. Well, dude.
Listen, back in the 80s and 90s, I expected undefeated season every year. And when we lost the game, I was depressed for a month because I wasn't used to it. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
Orange and Green Blood said props to Coach Feely and Coach Fields. And what do we think about Robert Burns? I think the most likely scenario, Orange and Green, is that Burns starts off as our short yardage back. If he starts breaking some runs, because remember, he has that 4.4 speed. If he starts breaking some runs and he becomes the hot hand, then his playing time increases, obviously, as long as he can stay healthy. Which
I wonder if he still run. What do you think, big dog? You think he still has that 4.4 speed?
I do. Listen, that young man is
he's had a lot of injuries, man.
He has, and he's 230 pounds now.
Right.
So. But
maybe listen, he might.
Hey, remember Trayon Gray?
Oh my! Don't even remind me of that because
ran a 4.38.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, it was hand time. Fine, it wasn't lasered.
Yeah, but still.
Okay, so it wasn't 4.38. It was 4.41.
It was 4.4. Exactly. I was gonna say 4.42.
at 230 pounds, 235 pounds. So, listen, I think Burns has all the talent in the world. If Burns had not been injured so much in high school, he would have been the number 1 running back in the country.
And you want to talk about somebody who's been itching and chomping at the bit for a chance? So Robert Burns is ready, and he's dying for his shot.
Listen, as much as we're disappointed with the injuries, I'll throw one back at you. Look at the way he's put together. So even when he was injured, he
hasn't slacked off in the weight room.
He hasn't slacked off in the weight room. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm sure as disappointed as we are, he's more disappointed of all the injuries he's had to fight off.
100%.
So, if he does it, guys, he could be a stud. Mm-hmm. And then you have and once Lingard comes back, you have a 4-headed monster with Dallas, Cam Harris, Lingard, and Robert.
And we got Don Chaney to follow.
And we got Don Chaney coming in. I think our running game is going to be doing well.
Goodness.
Adrian 808.
You're the only Kane YouTubers I'm subscribed to. Thank you, Adrian. We appreciate that, man.
Yeah. Saeed Bashir had some great comments here that I want us to go over. The first one, he talked about how good the New York connection is looking, talking about Jason Blissett, Jared Harrison Hunt, and Adam El-Gamal, the offensive tackle. Haven't seen El-Gamal really make a impact yet, Saeed, but now with the injury to Nesta, listen, now we're 4 deep in D tackles. So now somebody gets nicked up. Jason Blissett and Jared Harrison Hunt, or I think Jalar Holly is definitely going to redshirt. But those are the 2 guys that are going to step up. Mm-hmm. And these are great 3 technique tackles, guys. For you guys, you didn't know this. I've seen this question before, so I'm going to answer it now. The technique, what it means is very simple. A 0 technique means you're lined up as a defensive tackle. It's lined up right on the center, helmet to helmet. Okay? Then you have a 1 technique, which means that he is in the gap between the center and the guards on each side. That's a 1 technique. A 3 technique is a 2 technique would be lined up right with the guard, right? Helmet to helmet with the guards. A 3 technique means you're lined up on the gap in between the guards and the tackles. Okay? So that's the way it's designed. So it's 1 on each side, 3, 5, so forth. Okay? Now, it does change when you're looking at defensive ends, and that's when you hear people, they'll call them, that he does a 9 technique and the like. But for right now, we're talking D tackles. So that 3 technique, it also changes what the D tackle's responsibility is, what gaps he's covering. Okay? So what you want in a 3 technique is a guy who can penetrate, okay, and can still cover that hole in between the center and the guard. So you have to have get off, but you have to have also quickness and athletic ability in order so they're not able to get up the middle with you on. You guys know on the offense the way it's designed, where the holes are 2, 4, 6, 8, or 1, 3, 5, 7. Well, that 3 technique tackle is still responsible for that hole. Okay, so that's why they call them 3 techniques. Jason Blissett and Jared Harrison Hunt are both those 3 technique type of tackles.
Yeah.
So if they are pressed into action, I think those are guys that are going to be stars in at the University of Miami. Without hesitation, I believe they'll both be studs. So if they're pressed into action, I think they can do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. If you want to add something to that.
No, you're the trench guy. So
okay,
you're a lot more a trench guy than I am, and I agree with everything you said. I have nothing to add to that, my friend.
Saeed Bashir wanted to know how we would rank the QBs. I would rank them Jaron, Tater, and Cozy. To me, are tremendous arm talent, tremendous athleticism. So they're almost 6 of one, half dozen the other, even though they're
No, Tate, not really with the arm talent though. I don't think that's what you meant.
What I'm saying. No, I mean that Perry has that incredible arm talent and Tate the athleticism talent.
Right. Okay. You
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They both have weaknesses, but they're completely different styles of QBs. Mm-hmm. With Cozy, you have that cannon for an arm, and he's athletic enough to do things with his feet, and even buy time or get you that first down running.
Right.
With Tate, his limitations are as a passer. So it's really hard. I rank Jaron. That's why I picked him to be the starter, number 1. I probably rank in Cozy because to me, passing is most important in a quarterback. So I'd rank him second, and I'd rank Tate third. But Tate, the intangibles might move him up. So that's the way I would rank the QBs. How would you rank them?
I just think it's so close, man. Because I just wonder what the coaching staff is thinking.
Well, I think he's asking though how we would rank them as QBs. Yeah, that's what he wants to know.
Okay, fine. If I would rank them as QBs, I would rank Jaron, I think, head and shoulders above Nkosi, and I've always believed that in terms of just a pure quarterback. Jaron, I believe, is second to none. You know, when it comes, he can do it all. Frankly, and when it comes to accuracy, which is one of the most important aspects of being a quarterback, especially when you get to the next level. I mean, forget about it. Jaron's the guy. And yeah, I have to agree with you. I think Tate is dynamic, and I think if you formulate and you scheme up an offense tailored to Tate, I think he can be extremely dangerous.
Right.
But I think a
but you have to make a commitment
you
to
have
a completely different offense.
100%. If Tate does end up getting the nod, I don't think the offense will look anywhere near as it would look if it was Jaron or Nkosi. So I think you would need to tailor your offense to Tate's abilities. But in terms of quarterbacks, if I was ranking them, yeah, I would say Jaron and Nkosi and then Tate. So
okay, so you'd be the same as I.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Then Saeed also said that Nkosi is faster than Jaron. No, Saeed, he's not. He's not.
A lot of people. I don't understand why people think like I don't know. I think
guys, Jaron Williams ran for 1,300 yards, 1,292 to be exact, in high school, in Georgia against good competition.
Yeah.
And Nkosi ran, if I'm not mistaken, exactly 800 yards less. He ran for 492. While Jaron ran for 1,292.
I think
Nkosi ran for 494 in high school, I believe. But 800 yards basically less than Jaron. So notice that Jaron has been timed at over 20 miles an hour multiple times in fall camp.
So you think in a 40, you think Jaron takes Nkosi?
Jaron wins it. And not only that, look at the film. Look at their high school film. Jaron will fake people out of their socks. You don't see that with Nkosi.
No, it sure looks like he's gotten faster because he's dropped like 5% body fat as well.
Correct. So the thing is,
but Nkosi's fast, man. He's fast.
Nkosi's plenty fast. Listen, Nkosi's plenty athletic to be a dual threat.
Yeah.
You're looking at one of the top dual threats in the country. ESPN had him third the year he came out. Mm-hmm. So Nkosi's plenty athletic. But look at Jaron's film, guys.
Yeah.
He is fast, and he has moves for days.
Yeah.
Okay, you see him juke people left and right, and he has flat-out speed multiple times over 20 miles an hour. So I don't think Nkosi is faster. And he said about Robert Burns also, I think we covered that. And he asked if we believe that Jahfari Harvey could be the best long-term prospect on the team. Saeed, I think Jahfari is a stud. Incredible agility, incredible bend, a definite first-round NFL draft pick quality to him, and a guy who's going to be a tremendous player for us. Spot duty this year, but after this year, because remember, after this year we use Trayvon Hill, Scott Patchen, and possibly Jonathan Garvin.
Right.
Depending if he chooses to leave early. So, but after that, Jahfari Harvey is going to be a superstar at Miami, but the best prospect in terms of NFL ability or the highest ceiling, even in college, is one Gregory Rousseau.
100%.
So
even Mr. Calais Campbell said it himself that he reminds him, a little bit of, because I think they asked Calais about that because a lot of people were trying to make that comparison. And I'm pretty sure they asked Calais Campbell about it, and he says that he sees some of Rousseau in himself. So if some
of himself in Rousseau,
some of himself in Rousseau. So if he turns out to be a Calais, then that answers your question, frankly.
Exactly. Listen, he hasn't, I think, other than the spring, which obviously doesn't count because of the ankle injury, he hasn't done anything at the college level. Yet 247 wrote an article that NFL scouts already think of him as a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. So we're not talking just a first-round draft pick. Now, if he lights it up like I think he's going to, if there's not a hot quarterback, that could end up being the number one pick in a draft. So that's why I think Rousseau has that top-level talent.
I think the ceiling is definitely up there.
Yeah, so that would be the last thing. Bill K said, anybody see any chance of Williams starting? Bill, we've covered that. I absolutely believe that that he has every chance to start, and he said that he would be angry, if Jaron transfers. And Bill, I think if he doesn't get the job, chances are he's transferring. Hopefully until after the season. So if we need him, he'll be there, and then maybe win the job. So stay. But yeah, I would fully expect Jaron to transfer if he doesn't win the job. Yeah. And I hope it doesn't bite us in the butt. Offensively, he's asking, this is a good question. He said, do we spread the Gators out or run the ball down their throats? Bill, I think this is where Dan Enos' creativity is going to be very important. So the answer to that question is actually, to me, is both. I think you're going to see times that we spread them out, especially if they try to play us with a base defense. Then we might start out in 12 personnel where we have a running back and 2 tight ends. And like I said, the running back in the backfield, Brevin Jordan, let's say, playing an H-back, and then Mallory on the line. If they're playing their base defense, then we start spreading them out. And, all of a sudden Mallory goes out to basically trips on the right side, and then Brevin joins them on the inside of that. So then we spread them out, and then we can run it up the middle if we see 6 in the box.
Yeah.
So we're going to spread them out. And I also think the flip side, if we start seeing that they're using the nickel as their base, then we can go to that 12 personnel and then run it right down their throats. Mm-hmm. And now you have Brevin Jordan as a lead blocker and Will Mallory helping the offensive line. And then we could run it right down their throats.
I love the idea. I love the idea of that.
Yeah. You would agree that's the way we're going to approach it?
Yeah, 100%.
Mr. HD, I had him here earlier too, but you just mentioned that John Ford needs to step up and that everybody has been praising him. I agree, Mr. HD. This is the year, but the guys have talked about it, that they believe that it's like a switch went off in John Ford's head, and he basically said, yeah, nobody should be able to block me. I am that guy. Yeah. I am that dude. So he does need to step up, because we need him to have, I'm not going to say a Gerald Willis type season, but we do need him to have a big time impact, a double-digit tackles for loss, a dominating that middle.
He has the size to do it, man. Frankly, he has the size to do it, and now that
tremendous first step. In addition to that size, strength, great technique. Man. He can do it. Go ahead, dude. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. I'm just saying that, and especially now that Nesta's out, I mean, let's go. I mean, we've been waiting to see it, and hopefully we're gonna see it now, especially since we lost. Because you can make a case that it was probably looking like Nesta and Bethel on starting.
No, I think we're always looking forward to it and Bethel.
Oh, you never had Nesta starting ahead of Ford?
Oh, well, again, in terms of snaps, I thought Nesta and Ford are the ones that would get the most snaps, not Bethel.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Right. So I thought those guys would get the most snaps, because we're going to rotate. Remember, we want to come at them in waves. That's why we've built all great depth on the defensive line.
And I think we've said it multiple times. It doesn't necessarily matter who starts, all the times that we're going to come at them in waves, like you said, especially when it comes to our DNs. Like, it's looking like Patchen and Garvin are going to start, but you can make a case that Rousseau and Hill are going to be out there for more snaps than Patchen. I mean, especially if
it's going to be. Hey, by the way, here, yes, Garvin and Patchen have tired you out. Okay, yeah, we'll put our second teamers in.
Yeah,
so let's throw Trayvon Hill and
that's no knock on Patchen. I mean, he's come a long way. He's waited his turn, and he looks like he's ready. And he's on that first team for a reason. But I think just Rousseau is just special, frankly, and I think that's somebody that you're gonna have to have on that field as much as you can. And until he taps that helmet, man. Keep that man on the field. I think that's the kind of player that Rousseau is.
Yep. He also said about, am I concerned about, or are we concerned about Zion Nelson struggling in the first game against Florida? Listen, I am. I am. It's a
He's
hell of
been
a
he's,
game.
he's been holding his own against Garvin.
No, he has. And Garvin, listen, Garvin's going to use a lot, he's used them on times, but Garvin's going to do that to the best offensive tackles in the country. Jonathan
Right.
Garvin's special.
Yeah.
If our first game was against FIU, I don't even. There's no hesitation that Zion Nelson would be the starting left tackle.
Yeah.
Throwing him into the fire, his first college start in a game of that magnitude against, the strength Florida's defensive line is. I mean, you got Zuniga, you have some talent there. Okay, I'll say this. It does concern me. Is there a possibility that DJ Scaife starts that first game just for that purpose, and then Cleveland Reed starts at right guard, and then we keep either Campbell or Herbert at the right tackle? That's a possibility, okay? But it does concern me, but I think Zion Nelson is just that special. So, yes, I would expect them to start against Florida, but it does worry me a little bit that a young man's first game in college as a true freshman is of that magnitude. So I agree with you there. It does make me nervous.
Yeah. I think he'll be all right, man.
I mean, Nelson just seems to be that guy.
Yeah, he does.
So
they a quick thing on Nelson. I actually texted a Big Dog today because I was watching the Bushberry, and I'm not saying that Bushberry was making this comparison, but they asked him about Nelson because I think the question was somewhere along the lines of, how many 18, 19-year-old kids have you coached like Zion, and then he stopped for a second.
Well, it was like in the context of a true freshman starting at left tackle,
right? But and then he stopped for a second, and then he went back to his days at Central Michigan when he was a tight ends coach, and he brought up Eric Fisher, all right, and so. And then you could see he was about to say, so I see the but he didn't say resemblance, but he was about to, and then he pumped his brakes because he doesn't want to blow Zion Nelson's head up, too much.
Or put pressure on him.
Frankly.
He's supposed to play like Eric Fisher, right?
Exactly. He's supposed to be like Eric Fisher, but I think that talks, praises on the kind of talent that Zion Nelson can be. Frankly, so I thought that was very interesting that out of all the people that he could have named, Eric Fisher, all right. So Zion Nelson has been very impressive, and Butch Berry seems to be very impressed with him as well. But wasn't ready to make that comparison. But I thought that was a cool little nugget in one of his press conferences, post practice press conferences. That was pretty cool.
That is, and it's. Listen,
I just love watching him coach. If you guys haven't seen the videos that I posted, I have like 2 videos. One of them was the 2 open practices. One of them was that Friday, and I posted another one on Monday. If you haven't checked them out, I'll probably link them up here somewhere so you guys could check them out. Just look at the way Butch Berry coaches these kids. He's hands on. He gets in their face. And he's a technician. I mean, this guy had a job in the NFL for 4 years for a reason, And so
the upgrade that we got with Dan Enos as the OC over Mark Richt is the size of the upgrade that we got with Butch Berry over Stacy Searles is just as big as Enos over Richt.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much I feel about Berry.
Yeah.
So
exactly. We never saw that. Go ahead.
Adam Nolan.
Do we know exactly?
What were you saying?
No, you're good. He says Adam Nolan says, "Do we know exactly what the procedure is on Nesta?"
Yeah. Well, no, we don't. But we have the timetable for him: 6 to 8 weeks. Saying that Jeff Thomas is a true slot, I agree with you. But Jeff can also play outside. But yes, if you ask me what position X, Y, or Z Jeff most fits, it's the Y. It's the slot.
Mm-hmm.
So, any news on Lewis Headley? leaving for practice early. It was, I think, just soreness. He's absolutely fine, and he's been a full go. So
Yeah.
All right, took a quick little break there. We're on Alan Kane. Alan wanted to know about the strength of the secondary. Alan, I mean, listen, we were number one in the country by far, and best defense in the country with pass rating, meaning opposing quarterbacks rating against us was the worst. So we were number one in the country and making quarterbacks look bad, basically. So pass efficiency defense, they call it. So we were first in the country in that. We were first in the country in allowing the lowest passing yards per game at an amazing 135. Guys, in 2018, allowing 135 yards a game passing is ridiculously good. I do think we'll allow more yards against than that. I think from the standpoint of, listen, we had 3 veterans starters that are leaving. Michael, obviously had left. Michael Jackson, Jaquan Johnson, and Sheldrick Redwine. So you had all that experience. I think our starters this year will be more talented, but less experienced.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to give up a few more big plays, which will impact that yardage total because of that lack of experience. Sooner or later, it bites you in the butt. Listen, there's no substitute for experience in anything, okay? In football, even more so. So I do think we'll give up some more big plays here and there because of that, but I'm excited about our secondary. I'm excited about the talent that we have, the talent that's coming in. Mm-hmm. The safety rotation is now, instead of having 3 NFL safeties, I think we have 4 because of Derek Smith. And, oh, by the way, let's not forget Keontra Smith, who I think is showing that he could be a future stud. So
and Bubba today, my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, Bubba Bolden is officially here.
Yes.
So
you're looking at Bubba Bolden, Gervin Hall, Amari Carter, and Derek Smith are all going to play on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's not even counting Keontra Smith. So when people talk to me about talent, guys, we got the talent to play with anybody.
And listen, man, in terms of our corners, if we do get dinged up, Bandy's for sure is good on one side, and then Blades and Ivy are still battling out on the other side. But the problem becomes if we do get dinged up at secondary, then we're gonna see a lot more what Big Dog was talking about, because then Christian Williams might have to play some more than he's planning on playing. Corey Couch, might be putting in some more snaps than he was planning on playing. If guys get dinged up, and those are guys that don't have the game experience, so that could be a problem.
Or Nigel Bethel also.
Or Nigel Bethel's another one. I know we had him last year, but he wasn't at the weight he needed to be, and this year it looks like he's going to be doing a lot of damage in special teams for sure. He's a guy that is electric when he has the ball because he's blazing fast, but the lack of experience is there in the secondary, but the talent is also there. So I think we might have some hiccups, but
you're not going to overmatch Al Blades physically.
No, there's no way.
Right? But where you might beat Al Blades is he forgot an assignment, or he mixed up the guy he was staying with.
Right.
And then you end up giving up the big play.
Exactly.
So that could happen. So I feel good, Alan, about our secondary. Talent wise, again, you guys know I don't believe in the star system, but if you want to go by that, we got 9 4-stars in the secondary.
Yeah.
So talent-wise, we're there just as good as last year, but we don't have the experience of last year. So I fully expect that yardage total and the pass efficiency total rating will be higher.
Yeah.
Than it was, just because of those big plays.
I'm with you.
Okay. Next up, Deion Kendall had a couple of good points. Deion was mentioning that Manny was the DC at Mississippi State in 2015, and the head coach was Dan Mullins, and the co-offensive coordinators were Billy Gonzalez and John Hevesy, and there is familiarity, so he's not worried about it. Now, I would say that goes both ways, because Mullen knows how Manny thinks, just like Manny knows how Mullen thinks, but the wrinkle is Blake Baker's actually running the defense. But now Mullins, I think they had experience against Blake. I believe they played Louisiana Tech. So he had experience against Blake Baker also, but not Blake Baker with the talent he has at his disposal now. So that familiarity does matter, but it does swing a little both ways because the defenses are very similar. So I would.
And Mr. Nobody knows what Dan Enos calling the offense looks like.
That's true.
So that's another wrinkle in there as well.
That is true.
So
that is true.
Yeah.
Now he will know that though somewhat because remember Enos was the offensive coordinator in Arkansas when Mullins was at Mississippi State.
That fine, but Enos has never been offensive coordinator with this kind of talent though.
Oh, with the talent. I'm sorry, what you were saying. Right.
Yeah,
right.
I mean it's when
there's familiarity, but you're right. He didn't have that talent. Although he had decent talent in Arkansas. Listen, Hunter Henry, Alex Collins.
Yeah,
they had some good talent at Arkansas.
Not this kind of talent. This kind of talent.
I'd agree with that. And then he said about a formation, a 22 formation, but instead of Ellis George and Robert Burns, having Cam Harris and DJ Dallas also on the field. I listen, I don't put any formation past Dan Enos. Yeah. Like I said, he's going to have a Tate package. We might run a triple option with Tate on the field and Ellis George on the field at the same time. Go heavy with Ellis and Robert Burns. Go 22, like you're saying, with Cam Harris and DJ Dallas, along with Brevin and Mallory. I think you're going to see all of that, Dion, and I do like that idea. I do like it.
But that's the point I was trying to make with Dan Enos is that he has the flexibility to do so many things with this offense, and it's I think frankly we're going to see an offense that we've never seen from Dan Enos. I mean, there might be some similarities like you said, but I just think with this much talent on the offensive side of the football and the flexibility that he has, man, he's never had, I mean, Hunter Henry, all right, but Mallory, Brevin, Jeff Thomas, Pope, I mean, and then our running backs was Harris, DJ, and hopefully Zoe. There's just so much talent on every single position on the offense side of the football, man. I just think that we're going to see a Dan Enos offense that we've never seen before, and an offense that frankly we've been waiting to see at the U for a long time because we've had the talent, man. And I just think Enos is gonna utilize it amazingly. So yeah, that's what I mean when I was talking about Dan Enos.
I'm with you, and I agree with that. And I agree. I think that's exactly what Dan was going to do at Alabama this year if we didn't steal him away from Nick Saban.
Yeah.
He also, Deion Kend also mentioned that Burns was going. If I was basically worried about, or we were worried about DJ Dallas fumbling the ball, I'm not very worried about it. I think DJ is a type of guy who's going to work on that to stay on the field because I think Manny knows. I mean, he knows that Manny isn't going to be very patient with anyone turning the ball over.
Yeah, no.
So and Burns getting more playing time. I see that. We also covered Jafari Harvey, which I think he was going to ask. Came for life.
When Dallas fumbled in practice, he took him out, and it was Burns and Harris splitting first team reps.
Yeah. He knows that he has to focus on hanging on to the ball because Manny doesn't play that.
Exactly.
Manny's not going to play that. And neither is Enos. Because tell you what, Enos looks like a really calm guy, but he has a fiery personality.
That first scrimmage was kind of crazy because he was laying into the offensive line.
Yeah, so
he still see him doing it. No,
he doesn't play. Kane for life, who takes the third wide receiver position. I think early in the year, obviously he knows it's going to be Jeff Thomas and KJ, the top two guys. I think early in the year it'll be Mike Harley. Later in the season it'll be Mark Pope.
I'm with you.
Okay, you're with that also.
Yeah.
P. Hill has some awesome questions that we'll cover. Do you think players will be able to execute Enos's offense on the 24th? I think we did cover that somewhat. I am worried, P. Hill, about execution about busted patterns, about blown assignments, in terms of not remembering that you had to run a 12-yard in and ending up, doing something else, option routes that the receiver and the quarterback are not seeing the same thing, not covering up the tackle and getting a illegal formation penalty, getting a false start because guys are thinking of their assignments. Anytime that you have a brand new offense, you have some hiccups. So, yeah, I am concerned about the execution. We're going to be a much better offense game 5 than we will game 1 against Florida because of those type of execution errors when you have a brand new offense. So I am worried about that.
But then again, I mean, that's why you got somebody like KJ, and besides KJ, I mean, Jeff Thomas is a junior, correct?
Yes.
So, I mean, Jeff Thomas has some experience as well. I think there's going to be hiccups, but I think that's the reason why we've seen the coaching staff and Manny especially kind of down today, in the interviews, is because
the standard is up here now.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like he might those hiccups that we're talking about against, UF on the 24th, they're happening right now in the scrimmage. And that's why, Manny is ticked off, because those hiccups can't happen against Florida if you expect to come out of Orlando with a win. So I'm sure we're seeing some of those hiccups. But I do believe that they're grasping Enos' offense, much better. And they were, given the playbook to learn it throughout the summer. And I think a lot of those guys, took it upon themselves to really make an effort to do that. So I don't know, man. I have a good feeling. The fact that the standards are so high, and I feel like one of the main things that the coaching staff is upset about is not being flawless, is being out of position, is making simple mental errors that it could cost you a touchdown. It could cost you a legal formation penalty. When you're driving and then mess up the flow of the offense. Like, it's the little things that especially with a new offense being implemented. Game 1 against the Gators, you can't have too many of those little hiccups. We're gonna see some, guys, but you can't have too many of them, because then
you mentioned it in practice. DJ, you fumble, come sit over here. Go to that field. Go to that field. Cam and Robert, you're there.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's what they're trying to really incorporate. And we can't have those silly mistakes.
A receiver didn't get up on the line of scrimmage to cover up the tackle, because that's most of the times the illegal formations that you see.
Right.
Okay, that the tackle's uncovered. A receiver doesn't do that. What do you think Dan Enos is going to do to that receiver?
No, he's gonna just chew him up.
Yeah, come over here. Go sit over there.
Yeah.
Okay, so players know that that's the standard now. So that's going to limit those mistakes. But I think you're still going to see some hiccups on the 24th.
Yeah.
He also asked, which running back do we think will be most productive against UF? I think it'll be DJ Dallas. Not just running the ball, but in the passing game. As a receiver coming out of the backfield, taking advantage of that weakness in the linebackers.
Yep.
Reeds and those type of guys at linebacker do not impress me at all.
Right.
So I think DJ will
I'm with you there.
On the ground and in the air.
Yeah. And if he does fumble, God forbid, it'll be Harris.
He also asked if any specific players on Florida's defense that Enos is likely to key on, and I think we covered that, and that's to be the linebackers and the safeties.
Yeah.
The tight ends hurting the safeties, and the running backs hurting the linebackers in the passing game. Said how important it is to no turnovers. Talking about pocket presence among QBs. Pocket presence, again, I go back to, I think Jaron has the best pocket presence in terms of Jaron will stand in the pocket and deliver the ball accurately, even if he's being pressured. And Cozy, his mechanics get scattered when he gets pressured, and Tate looks to run immediately when he gets pressured. So pocket presence, I think Jaron is the one that has that pocket presence the best. Do you agree with that?
No, what you do?
Okay. Then he said about Enos opening the playbook more with Perry and Williams. He also that Perry can make certain throws that the other two can't. I don't agree with you there. Perry has the strongest arm, no doubt, but Jaren can make all the throws.
There isn't
a throw in the world that Jaren can make. So,
and then frankly, you could say the same about Nkosi. Just whether he can make all of those throws consistently has been consistently accurately has been one of my concerns. And frankly, you can't really say that for Tate. I don't think Tate can make all of the throws. So if it comes down to pure quarterback, I think that's why me and the big dog are both in agreement with Jaren.
And you're right that the playbook is opened with Perry and Williams. The playbook has to be completely different with Tate. With Perry and Williams, they're interchangeable, even though Jaren will throw more short and intermediate, while Nkosi will air it out more often. But you're right there. It does limit your playbook, and the fact that Tate really needs to go in a shotgun to be most comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But you can have a full playbook with Tate. It'll just look completely different than it will with Perry and Williams. So that's one of the reasons why I'm leaning towards. If he has to eliminate a quarterback now, I'm leaning towards it being Tate, because with Tate, you have to design an offense that's strictly for him. And then what do you do if you have to go to Williams or Perry?
Right.
It's going to be a completely different offense.
Right.
Is he concerned about special teams? P. Hill, that's a really good question. I am concerned, not with the return games. I think right now with the injury of Lingard, it looks like the kickoff returns will be Nigel Bethel and Mark Pope. Punt returns, we have Jeff Thomas and DJ Dallas, who have done it very good. Mark Pope will work his way in there also. And Bethel could even work in there as a punt returner, although I like him better as a kick returner. But I'm not concerned with Lewis Headley. I think Lewis Headley's going to end up in the NFL as a punter. Bubba Baxa has looked good. Hit a 55-yarder the other day in practice, getting rushed. I think Baxa is showing why he was the number 1 or 2 kicker in the country when he signed with us. The part that I am worried about is our coverage teams, because of our thinness at linebacker, who are usually pretty important in your special teams. We're going to have to hold some linebackers out of coverage units because we don't want to get them hurt, because we don't have a lot of depth there. So I am a little worried about our coverage units because of the lack of linebackers. So
I'm with you.
You're there with me?
I'm with
and
you.
Then his only other question, the percentage of passes versus run for Enos. Overall in the season, I think it'll be 55-45, 55% runs, 45% passes. In Florida, I think against Florida, you might see a bigger difference. It might be 60 runs against 40% passes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, and he mentioned it's hard to go undefeated these days. There's orange and green blood again. He felt Bama and Clemson were going to lose this year. I agree with you. He likes Jeff Thomas doing drag routes. Great idea. Crossing routes and drag routes with Jeff Thomas with that speed are scary, because you're talking about a guy could run away from somebody and then turn it upfield. I'd love that idea. And we have the coach and the playbook that Bama wanted with Dan Enos, exactly. 100%. He also talked about the coaching staff top to bottom. I'm right with you, orange and green blood. Tremendous coaching staff. He mentioned specifically David Feely and Stephen Field. Great recruiter, Stephen Field. Really good tight ends coach. I agree with you. Great coaching staff throughout. And if we do think that one of the QBs was out already, because he said that, remember, Danino said
you want to narrow it down to 2.
Take it down to 2.
Right.
Correct. I don't know if he's done that as of yet. My feeling is he hasn't. He might have mentally, but I think he's going to keep all 3 getting equal first-team reps until the second scrimmage. Then in the second scrimmage, I don't think he cuts down to 2. I think he cuts down to 1.
You have to, because that's it. I mean, we'll be a couple weeks out. That's it.
So I that's what I think he's going to do. And talking about the running games will be very important to take a lot of pressure off the QBs. Absolutely. A great running game is the best thing. It's like heaven for a quarterback
Yeah.
because then the teams have to start keying on the run, and then the whole entire field opens up to you.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. Byron Lamb mentions that at practice, it was Wiggins and Thomas on the outside and Osborne in the slot. Like I said, Byron, I think it's going to be with those guys specifically. Jeff Thomas, KJ Osborne, Mike Harley, Mark Pope. Who am I missing? I think basically with those four guys, they'll be in the slot and they'll be outside. So I think that's going to be the case. You're going to see D. Wiggins on the outside. Obviously, Wiggins is not going to be in the slot.
Yeah.
And then you'll see Hightower. Brian Hightower's looked really, really good, guys. People forget Brian Hightower's a stud.
Oh, yeah.
And you remember that catch he made against LSU for the touchdown?
And then we never saw him again.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Anyways.
You're starting to shake a little bit, big dog, so.
I'm doing it again. Yes, that's me probably with this.
Yeah, you're good.
So I definitely think we'll see that. He also mentioned he likes the dynamic on the show and the information. Thank you so much, Byron.
We appreciate it, man.
You have been a tremendous supporter, and thank you. Said some really nice things here about how the way we interact and the way we act also with Deb that is non-confrontational and he loves the information. So thank you, Byron. Landfound had a couple of quick questions. Should he be worried about Jeff Thomas because he keeps getting injured? Landfound, listen, durability is always a concern. And Jeff has been nicked up, had the arthroscopic knee surgery in the spring, missed. He wasn't a full participant, I think, for a practice or two already. But Jeff, when it comes to game times, he seems to show up and always be ready.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he's going to turn into our Stacy Coley.
Oh my goodness!
God,
and I like Cody, man, but
you remember that was my dude.
But man, he was just fragile in his glass, man.
When you looked at him and he got a sprained ankle.
Yeah.
And so I'm not there yet with JT4 Landfound. I don't think that's a
that much of a concern,
right? Yet, until if he misses some games, then it's different.
Yeah.
He mentioned Nkosi being a poor man's Cam Newton. I'm not quite there. I don't think. Obviously, he doesn't have Cam's build, but then again,
not many quarterbacks have Cam's build.
Yeah, nobody has Cam's build. I mean, most of the Cam's builds are playing defensive end.
Yeah.
But I do see. But I think Nkosi has a much stronger arm than Cam. Because Cam has a good arm, but Nkosi has a cannon.
That's close.
But I don't see. There is some similarities from Nkosi to. I mean, there's guys that have been like that. Randall Cunningham's one of the first ones to pop into mind that have that stronger an arm, tall and lanky like that. But that's the difference between him and Cam. Cam's a much bigger, thicker dude. And then he mentioned that if Bolden wasn't that, how do we know Bolden's that good? Listen, I've watched a ton of film on Bubba Bolden in high school, and he was an absolute monster. Ask St. Thomas Aquinas. Picked off the pass that sealed that victory. That was a big part of that victory of Bishop Gorman's over St. Thomas Aquinas.
And he's a hitter. That's what I like about Bolden, too. And
Bubba Bolden was close to a 5-star talent coming out of high school. The dude is 6'3", rangy, can play a strong safety or free safety.
Yeah.
And is a hitter.
Yeah.
So, and can cover the entire field. Like Manny Diaz said at the scrimmage that Gervin Hall makes the field look like a small patch of grass because of how rangy he is and how much ground he can cover. Bubba Bolden can cover every bit as much ground.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with Bubba. With our other safeties like Derek Smith and Amari Carter, they're very, very good. They are decent at times in coverage, but they're big hitters. With Bubba and Gervin, you have both. They'll smack you and they'll intercept a pass on the sideline too.
Two of them when it came to Gervin in the scrimmage this past weekend.
Absolutely. So that's what I see there. Asking about Lingard as a third down back. Lingard's not your typical third down back. That you'd see more Cam maybe before he gained the 15 pounds, because Cam has gotten to the size of an every down back. Lingard is not. Lingard's your every down back style of guy. DJ is more of a third down back. So I can see DJ in that role if Lingard's back to health and we go with Lingard and Cam Harris as our top 2 running backs. I can see DJ filling in that third down role.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Taylor, he had something we didn't get to address in our live chat, mentioned that a cop stopped him to tell him that the Gators were going to beat us. And told the Gators, well, I hope the cop didn't give you a ticket, Sean.
Yeah.
He said that Pope and Wiggins have to hold on to the ball, talking about the drops, especially with Dean Wiggins.
Pope was a concern coming into spring, but we saw in spring, he was holding onto the ball, and he's been holding onto the ball, frankly, in fall as well. We've seen more. I don't know if maybe Pope transferred some of the drop C's to Wiggins, but we've seen that reverse a little bit. I've seen Wiggins drop a lot more passes than Pope. Pope has been doing a great job of holding onto the football. So,
yeah, and I think Pope is one of those guys that when the lights are turned on, he shines the most.
Yeah.
And so I'm not as worried. With D, that's a concern, and I just hope it doesn't get in his head. But Pope has been being mentored by KJ Osborne. So he's doing that 150 balls a day on the jugs machine. So, but you're right, they do have to hold on to the ball. He said Zion Nelson is the one that sent George Brown to the portal. And I think you might be right.
You think you might be right.
Zion was ahead of him. John Campbell was ahead of him. Kalion Herbert was ahead of him. Zalante Hillary was actually ahead of him when they moved him back out to tackle. And who knows if Adam El-Gamal was getting the point that was ahead of him. Yeah. George Brown, 6'7", 305 pounds. He looked like a tackle from Central Casting. We got him as a transfer from LSU and just never worked out. I wish him well. He said that he had heard our safeties are having a hard time in coverage, in man coverage. I haven't really heard that, Sean. I know Robert Knowles struggles in coverage. I know Derek Smith sometimes struggles in coverage, but definitely Gervin doesn't, and Bubba is not going to. Amari Carter, at times he struggled in coverage, does much better in the box, but I think they're still going to be well above average safeties, even Derek Smith and Amari Carter. Now Bubba and Gervin will be prime time coverage safeties for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Agree there.
Mm-hmm. He said the brace got him worried about Zoe. I was at practice. I don't know if you guys for those of you that didn't catch the live stream last time, or maybe you didn't catch me saying it. I saw Zoe working with David Feely for the majority of practice on that Monday last week, and he's not going to be ready for the opener. He's not going to be ready for August 24th. When it comes to straight line, drills, he looks fine. The brace isn't crazy bulky, but I mean it's noticeable. Right. But he's just not there when it comes to cutting, to making those quick cuts, laterally. Zoe's not there yet, and whether he's not there physically or whether he's not there mentally, I'm not sure exactly which one it is. Could be a little bit of both. But I think Zoe also needs to get, his confidence, and Manny alluded to it a little bit, talking about Zoe. And
he talked about Zoe, but he said we're close to getting him back.
Yeah,
he said.
But I do not believe. No, he's not going to be back for the Gators, frankly, and frankly, I love Zoe and Big Dog. You know how much I've been wanting to see Zoe on this field. Ever since he came to this university, I was crazy excited about him. 5-star talent. I mean, incredible. But he's not a guy I would want to force out there, especially with the depth that we have at running back. I think DJ's good. Harris is good, and Burns looks healthy. So frankly, I don't see a need to try to rush Lorenzo Lingard into the fold. So frankly, just keep him on the shelf, especially for that first game against Florida, and throw him in there maybe maybe game 3, maybe game 4. You know, as long as we have a healthy Lorenzo Lingard, you know, mid-season heading towards the end down the stretch, I think that's all we could possibly ask for, and I'll be good with that. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree. There's no reason to force him back, and the thing is with Zoe, I mean, we have a bye week in between Florida and North Carolina, and then we have FIU, I believe, in Bethune-Cookman. I don't have the schedule pulled up, but I believe it's those are the following 2 games. If that's the case, do you even want to bring them back for like Bethune-Cookman and that? No, why don't we just hold them out to the rest of the ACC schedule, and then you have 100% Zoe.
well,
So,
no,
no, I don't. No. Listen, when I say hold him out, I mean not put him at kick returner and maybe giving him 1 or 2 carries. I'm not talking about not playing at all.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right. What I mean is before you're counting on him to give you something.
Right, yeah. But I definitely, I definitely want to see him get
Cookman, give him a couple of carries.
Yeah.
You know, North Carolina, even if he's ready to play, give him a couple of carries.
Exactly.
But down the road, once we get into the meat of the schedule, I want 100% Zoe.
Yeah, well, I'm with you.
So I would think that that's going to be the case. Will Sky. Oh, this is good. Guys, we're going to have to – we don't want to make this video too long, so we're going to have to cut it here. What we're going to do is we have a 3-hour live chat Thursday at 7, same channel. We're going to – what I'm going to do is highlight the rest of the questions because there was a bunch of them, and we'll try to get to these questions in the live chat on Thursday. So since we're going to do a 3-hour show on Thursday, we just don't want to make this individual video too long. But Will Sky asked a great question, and I want to break it down. He wanted to know, is Enos a spread or pro style passing attack? And and then he also mentioned about Ja'Gai Clark looking good, which he is. It looks like he's going to be our backup center. Now, he might redshirt anyways, not play more than 4 games, which would be great. But he looks like he's very capable as a backup center. And then he's concerned about playing Virginia on a short week when they're coming off a bye. And Will, I agree that game can sneak up on us. But I think the fact that we lost to Virginia in a really tough loss, you know, the way we came back against Virginia, and for them to beat us the way that, 16-13, and we had an opportunity and had some late penalties and stuff like that, I think that sticks in our craw. So I think that makes up for it being a short week. And even Virginia has an extra week to plan for us. That's fine. They can. And we get them at home. But
Yeah.
Will, we'll end the show on this, Junior. And obviously we'll let you sign off. Please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell if you haven't already. It really helps us. Leave us a comment. We always answer all those comments 100%. And that helps on the algorithm for YouTube also. And share. And thank you guys so much for your support. It's been amazing. But Will wanted to know, is it a spread or a pro style? Somebody asked him, responded, he calls it the spread coast. And what it is, it's a combination of the West Coast and the spread offense.
Mhm.
Okay? And Will, here's the big difference between the two. Number one, the West Coast. The West Coast offense is more of a passing offense, but it's a controlled passing on offense that stretches the defense horizontally. The West Coast, people don't know this. People know that it was invented by Bill Walsh. They don't know it was actually invented by Bill Walsh when he was an assistant with the Cincinnati Bengals in the early 70s. They had a great quarterback named Greg Cook who went down with shoulder problems that ended his career. The quarterback that they picked up was a quarterback named Virgil Carter. Well, Virgil had a lot of accuracy, good accuracy, but did not have an arm strength to go deep. So he invented this West Coast offense as a matter of necessity because Virgil Carter couldn't really throw deep.
Right.
So it's an offense that spreads you in terms of pattern-wise, the route tree, it spreads you horizontally. So it makes you to cover sideline to sideline. So what you're going to see in a West Coast is a lot of outs, short outs, is a lot of quick slants, is a lot of passes out to the backfield on like swing patterns. You're going to see that's what the West Coast offense does. So it's a passing offense, predominantly still runs the ball very well, but uses the running backs out of the backfield and short patterns, okay, and spreads the defense side to side. Before the West Coast was invented, almost all the passing games were vertical, meaning you're looking at a deep pattern or two deep patterns, and then the progression gets shorter. You start going to the shorter routes. So it was always vertical minded, like the Raiders, the old Al Davis, where it was a mad bomber, Daryl LaMonica throws deep. West Coast changed everything and made it spread them horizontally. It caught on because after Bill Walsh got the head coaching job with the 49ers, Joe Montana comes in, not known for having the strongest arm, perfect guy, but great accuracy, perfect guy for the West Coast. So the West Coast a lot of times will depend on run after the catch. That's why accuracy is so important. That's why I thought it was Jarren Williams was the best guy. Because those short patterns, you want to throw them. How many times did we see Jerry Rice in the West Coast catch a slant and take it 80 yards? He would split the safeties and be gone. Okay? So you can still hit home runs, but a lot of times it'll be on shorter patterns that the receiver runs after the catch and turns it into a home run. So it spreads you wide. Okay? That's what the West Coast is designed. Now, the spread offense, people think that it's a passing offense. Yes, it has a lot of passing, but it's really designed as a run offense predominantly, because what you're doing is, that's why it's called the spread. You're spreading the team with formations, not with patterns. So that's when you're going 3 wide, sometimes 4 wide with only one back. And then you start spreading them out wide. They line up out wide. What are you forced to do? You're forced to spread your defense out wide. So then the guys have more space. Ideally, in a spread, somewhat similar to what the old run and shoot was, you're looking at quickness of receivers. You know, you might have 1-6-3 guy or 2-6-3 guys to line up as outside receivers, but you want a lot of those quicker receivers, smaller receivers that can create damage in space. So what the spread is trying to do is spread you out wide. Now, if you have to change your formation as a defense, if I show up with 4 wide receivers, you're going to have to play dime. Okay? So now what happens? Now you have a dime defense where you have 6 defensive backs and you only have 5 other players. So you have 4 linemen and 1 linebacker. I have 5 offensive linemen. So what happens? I can run the ball right at you. And then the spread, the tempo, running a fast tempo, making you keep whatever defense you pick. If you pick a dime or if you pick a nickel, then they make you stay in that defense because they start running up tempo. Okay, people thought like Oregon that when they were at their best a few years ago, that, oh, look what they're doing. It wasn't a pass happy offense. They actually ran the ball. Chip Kelly ran the ball a bunch. Okay, but they spread you out with formation, and that way it leaves the box clear of traffic. So you're also looking for running backs that are not necessarily your power backs, but your scat backs that can cause damage in space. Okay, so in the spread, you're going to see that type of formation is spreading the defense, but it doesn't really impact the route tree like a West Coast offense impacts the route tree, the routes that the guys can run. Okay, I hope that you think I made it as concise as and understand that you can understand and understandable as possible.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, finish.
No. So a spread coast is a combination of both offenses. It has the spread aspect of it, of what you're going to do to the defense with formation, a lot of times with motion, and after they break from the huddle, and sometimes they won't huddle. A lot of spread teams go no huddle, and that's where you see you start holding up the signs and stuff like that, the different signs that mean different things. So they want to spread you out with formation. So what you'll see with Dan Enos, who runs a spread coast, which is a combination, is spreading him out with formation and then doing a lot of those passes that spread you out sideways, horizontally, as opposed to just vertically. So he's going to have the West Coast concepts with the spread concepts in terms of what he does with formation, and you're still going to see some deep shots, obviously, because you want to take advantage of both. But that's what Dan Enos likes running, and that's why he calls it the spread coast. Has those two aspects to it, that the West Coast passing of stretching a team horizontally, and then the spread of doing it with formation and then leaving that box. That's why I think he's going to run the ball. People forget Alex Collins ran for like 1,500 yards at Arkansas when Dan Enos was the offensive coordinator in Arkansas. So he's going to believe in that run, and that's why Bill Kay had asked the question earlier about, are we going to spread it or run it down their throat? And the answer was both. You know, because the other thing that you can do when you run the spread coast is now if you spread them out with formation, we can spread them out, but with formation, but have Brevin Jordan and Will Mallory in the game. So now if you don't play dime, then you got to put a linebacker on either Brevin Jordan or Will Mallory. Good luck to you if that's the case. And, oh, by the way, if you do, go dime, then guess what happens? Then we run the ball right down the throat, and then Will Mallory stays in the tight end, and Brevin Jordan stays as an H-back, and we run it right down your throat. And, oh, by the way, we go up tempo so you can't substitute. So those are how he runs that spread coast offense. So I think that explains it.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Where else are you going to find a breakdown like that, baby, on YouTube?
I just love, guys.
Where else? No, that's a clip. That's clipped right there. And this is that right there, what the big dog just did, that's going to be its own separate video explaining the West Coast and the spread and how Dan Enos is going to run his offense. I'm just letting you guys know. If you've made it this far in this video, be on the lookout for that clip and watch that again so you guys could take some notes. That is the big dog at his best, and that is what makes this channel. Woo! That's it. I couldn't even say a word, man. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just look. I was giving you this face like, yeah, because it was gold, baby. That's gold right there. That is golden, big dog. Great job, dude.
I'll tell you guys. This will be a funny story. It'll be a quick one. You guys will get a kick out of it. When I was a little kid, when I first started playing football, I was like 5 years old. I was a real big kid, so I was always much bigger than kids my own age. And back then, if that was the case, they wouldn't even let you play. Nowadays, they let you play as long as you don't touch the ball. Back then, they didn't even let you play. I remember I was like 5 years old or 6 years old, and I was the size of a 12-year-old, and my dad was like, well, I'll sign a waiver, and they were like, no, we can't do that and stuff. But anyways, when I was a kid, I get notebooks. You know how you get notebooks? It's the first day of school. Literally by a month into it, my entire notebook, instead of having anything of school related, was me drawing plays, drawing X's and O's and drawing plays. My mother would get better. I was like 7 years old, and I had somebody gave me this big package of all these toy soldiers. You know, when people get this toy soldiers,
yeah,
and how they would start playing war. No, I had my dresser. I actually made with my pencil, made a football field on my dresser. Okay, and the soldiers became football players, and I literally have 11 soldiers on each side, and I'd have the 10-yard line marked really nice. Every single yard like that, I pretended there were yards on my dresser, and I do plays. I do different plays on them, and that's how crazy about football, about X's and O's especially. I love that. Yeah. I love the whole strategy aspect. So even when I was really, really young, that's one of the things that really attracted me most to football was that strategy angle.
Yeah.
So I read books from like Vince Lombardi, oh my God, Don Coryell, who ran the Air Coryell, the father of the modern passing game. Nobody ever talks about this guy. His name is Sid Gilman. And Sid Gilman was a coach back from the 50s with the Rams, and then became a coach of the San Diego Chargers and had great success with the Chargers in the AFL. Sig Gilman's the one who devised a modern route tree. I love all that. I love all that aspect of strategy.
I think we just stumbled upon something here, Big Dog, because I think this could have been the birth of some segments that we might be doing in the future. Because honestly, man, you had me like, cause I was learning along with some of our viewers, man. You guys know that Big Dog is the one with the X's and O's knowledge here.
All this gray and white hair, of being an old man.
Big Dog, hey man, look, hey, before we sign off, man, thank you for taking us to school, man. Taking us to school, taking me to school once again. I was just like, I was just enjoying that. So thank you so much. That's gonna be a clip on its own, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that made it this far, once again, if you haven't already, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like, hit that notification bell, share. We would really appreciate it. And as well, if you would like to donate to the channel, our PayPal link will be in the description. So anything you guys could help, donate. Don't matter if it's $1, 50 cents. It doesn't matter. But I had to plug that in here. We would really appreciate it. And for those of you that have donated to our channel already, we're gonna shout you out, especially on Thursday. For those of you, because we've had many of you already donate to our channel. We really do appreciate it.
I can actually do it real quick.
No. We'll do it Thursday, just in case some of those guys don't make it all the way to the end of this video. I just want to make sure they're acknowledged and
appreciated, guys. Anything that you guys want to do, it's appreciated. We're not going anywhere. And listen, there's people that either choose not to or their finances don't permit them. We understand that, guys. You give 100%. Us support just for watching our videos, just for being there in our live chats, and you guys have shown us a ton of love. So if you don't donate, we understand that too. But if you do want to support the channel, please do it through our PayPal.
It'll help us out even more than the super chat, because YouTube takes like 30% of the super chat. So
that's true.
But those of you that have already donated, we really do appreciate it. If you do want to donate, link's gonna be down in the description. So check that out. With that being said, man, we'll see you guys on Thursday. Live stream, 1,000 subscriber celebration, 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. We're going to be on there for 3 hours. And Big Dog already said he's going to go. I know we didn't go through all of the questions, but he's going to highlight some. And since it's going to be so long, he's going to address some of those questions that you guys asked. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Well, we did our best to get to the most questions as possible, but me and the Big Dog could be on here for 5 hours, and I don't think a lot of people will have an attention span that lasts that long for a podcast. So, but yeah, with that being said, Big Dog, hey, it's always
all about this you.
Catch you guys on the next one.
Ryan Little. Yoga.